Hello, good morning guys, welcome back to a new video. So in this video I have a Juniper MX480 chassis and I have two different line cards in there, MPC7E-MRATE. This is a MPC fixed configuration which support 10, 40 and 100 gig. The total throughput capacity of the line card is 480 gigabyte per second. 240 gigabyte per second per group. So we have two different groups in there. So the first group is the port 0/1 to 0/5. This is the port number 0, and we have the port number 1/1 to 1/5. So two different groups. So I can set a combination of different port speed per group as long I don't exceed the total throughput capacity per group, which is 240 gigabyte per second. So the idea of the video is show you how to change the port speed at the FPC level. So by default, when you insert a QSSP28 plus optics on the port, the interface is channelized in four different sub-interfaces. For example, 10 gigabit per second, which, for example, the port number 0/1 and the 0/0 and 0/1 support 10 and 40 gigabyte per second. So the port number 0/2 and 0/5, that port support 100 gig per second. So the idea is, you have to check how to, set the different port speed on per group on the interfaces. So after that, we are going to check if the FPC and the peak status are online, meaning that if the chassis was able to recognize, both line cards. So let me show you how to execute that. Hello guys, good morning. So this is the second part of the video in which, I will show you how to change the port speed on the MPC7E. So I have two different MPCs on my chassis. So I have one MPC on the FPC slot 1 and the FPC slot 5. So as you remember, that in the first part of the video, I explained that this has 12 different ports on the unit. Four of them support 100 gig. The other one, you can mix the different speed between 10 gigabit and 40 gigabit. So depend of the QSSP 28 optics that you insert on the interface by default. When you insert a QSSP 40 gigabyte, so the interface will channelize in four different sub interfaces. XE right there. So the XE meaning that the interface is working at 10 gigabit per second. So when you change the speed of that particular interface to 40 gigabyte, the interface naming change to ET. ET means that the interface is working at 40 or 100 gig. In this case, look at that. We have a QSSP optic in there working at 10 gigabit per second, and the interface was channelized in four different interfaces. So you can go and check this particular interface, right? Show interface, and the interface name right there, 40 gigabyte. So look at that. When you insert that cable by default, the interface channelized in four different interfaces right there. So that's the other part of the cable. So you can see the other one, two, and three. So let me show you the information about the FPCs. Show chassis, FPC peak status. So right there we have two different line cards on slot 1 and slot 5. So do you remember that I told you that the MPC is divided into different sections, 6 port and 6 port. The first 6 port belong to the peak 0. on group 0, the other one to the peak 1, both of them. So let me show you, what exactly is on the peak 0 or peak 1. Show chassis, peak FPC slot 1, peak 0. So right there, look at that. That's the information of the peak 0, which is 6 port, right? 1 to 5. And right there we have, a couple cables right there. This cable, they QSSP cable work. The speed is 100 gig. What happened is you need to set the speed on the port in order to bring the interface up. So for example, the port 0 support 410 gig and 40. The same thing with the other port, except the port number 2 right there. That port support 410 gig, 40, and 100 gig. So why the interface? You insert the octave, but the interface is down because you need to set the speed on that. Let me show you how to execute that. Let's see what is on the other peak information. So right there we have more cables right there. For example, this is a brocade, a 40 gigabyte, another 40 gigabyte right there, and we have another 10 gig. That's on the peak slot 1, but we have another one, right? We have the FPC slot 5 right there, and the FPC peak status, and then the peak 0 as well. So now let's check. Let's set the configuration on the MPCs. So edit. So set chassis. I will set first the interface 1/0.2, which is this one right here. This port right here, which support 100 gig. I will connect this one to the other FPC. So set chassis, FPC, FPC slot 5, pick slot, pick slot 0, pick 0, port 2, speed. Let's check the different speed that they are on the interface available. 100 gig, 10 gig, 25 gig, and 40 gig. So let's set 100 gig. Enter. So now let's change the speed on the other interface, on the FPC slot 1, just to make the connection between the two interfaces. 100 gig. So now let's set the other speed on the other ports. Let's check, for example, uh, this one right here on the FPC slot 5 pick 1. So let's make that change in there. Set chassis FPC 5 pick 1 port speed 40 gig. Let's do exactly the same thing on the FPC slot 1. And the other one by default is working at 10 gig. But basically, that's the cable that I have. So I will just set the interface just like that. So when you make that changes, immediately, the chassis trigger an alarm. Commit. So exit from here, show chassis alarm, and look at that. So now we have the alarm that said that FPC need to be restored. The same thing with the FPCs, the F, the FPC on the slot one. So if you check, we can check, look at the alarm right there. That yellow means that there is some changes on the FPC. We need to apply that in order to bring the interface up and activate the new configuration on the port speed. So request chassis FPC slot number slot one restore. Now let's do the same thing on the slot 5, which is the FPC 5 right there. So that will take a few minutes in order to bring the interface. If you can check for example, show chassis FPC pick status is present. It's not online yet. So the pit as well, they are down right now. So this will take about 2 minutes, 3 4 minutes, something like that, in order to bring the interface up. And after that, we are going the new port speed configuration. So let's wait until this process is complete. FPC pick status. So they are online. So now let's check the port. Enter. So right there, look at that. So we have this interface right here, which is connected with this one right here. So let's double check what is the speed on that. Copy, show interface, paste, right there. So right there we have 100 gig on that interface. So we change the default to which is a 4 for 10 gig by default to 100 gig. Let's check the other one, which is this one right here, the other part of the FPC, the FPC 5, 100 gig. So let's check the other interfaces. Let's see. Let's check this one right here. Copy, paste. This interface is working at 40 gigabyte. Look at that. As same as the 5 FPC5 pick status 1 port 3. It's confused sometimes to understand that, but once you start practicing or changing the port speed, I mean, it comes very easy. 40 gig. And now let's check the other interface. If you check the chassis, you will see how the lights are on. For example, this one is 100 gig, and this one right here is working at 40 gigabytes, which is this one right here. So let's double check that. 40 gig. Now let's check the interface that are working at 10 gig. FE. So that's the interface that are working at 10 gigabytes. Look at that. Copy. 10 gig. 10 gig by default. So remember, you can play and change and set different sport speed on the interface, but be careful. Don't exceed the throughput capacity of the line card. For example, the pick number 0, you can set two different port working at 100 gig, but you already exceed the capacity of the throughput on that particular line, on that particular peak. So you can play with the other group, setting one port at 100 gig, which connect, to a server or a different chassis or whatever other equipment. But be careful, don't exceed that throughput capacity on the MPC. So basically, that is how do you change the port speed on the MPC7E-MRATE. That will be all for today, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and share with your friend and coworker. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Thank you.